Hello folks, I'm just doing the video, putting the video online about, what does it say, my time with those churches are probably over. Yeah. Well, okay, let's look at the situation with the, again, with the river one. Well, if the pastor said to me, he's asking me not to go to any meetings until he's back from America. That's about 4 weeks' time. So, okay. If I'm on my own for 4 weeks, and I'm okay with that, and there will be some difficult times during that time, obviously. If I'm okay in that time, why do I need the church at all? The whole point of church is you're supposed to need the church because you're not supposed to do things on your own. Right, but the pastor therefore saying he wants me to do things on my own for the next 4 weeks at least. What would be the point of me going back to a church therefore? Certainly going back to that church. Because if fellowship is important, then why say to someone, there's no fellowship for you for 4 weeks, if it's important? If it's not important, then why do I need it? Well, to me, that has to be a point of understanding. That, you know, if the pastor is saying that no church for you for 4 weeks, if church is so important for God's people, then obviously he's completely out of order for saying that. If the church is not so important for children of God, then why go to church at all? Especially where church is right now. Because according to this pastor, Jeff, I'm not going to say his name, but Jeff, according to Jeff, he's like, okay, it doesn't matter if someone has no fellowship, if someone has no ministry given to them, or anything like that, for 4 weeks. Then why would it matter if there's no ministry or fellowship for 8 weeks, 12 weeks, yeah, a year, 2 years? Well, okay, in the next 4 weeks, what's going to happen? Well, in 6 days' time, the court situation again about the dogs. So, if they decide my dogs are not mine anyway, yeah, and they're not going back to me, that's going to be tough, isn't it, really? Yeah. But if they come back to me as well, that's going to be really tough, emotionally. And if I can get through those sort of things, then I can get through anything, can't I? Really? Well, of course, if the court says my family won't come back to me, that's hard, obviously. If they say my family are going back to me, yeah, and on that day it's going to be really, really hard, obviously. And no support for those things. No supports at all for that. Okay. Why do I need church? If I've got to just go with my relationship with God for all of that time, going through all those situations, that means that certainly by the end of the 4 weeks, I should have gained some understanding of learning how to deal with things with just God's help. Learning to have fellowship with God. Learning to, use my own worship and my own way of ministry and that sort of stuff. Which, if I can do that, do I need church? Does anybody really need church? So this is the point. If pastors think that you don't need church for a month, and that's okay, then why do you need church at all? Well, as I said, look at the church now. Would you be better on your own, or stay in your church with people who don't want to see, where they are, or the truth? Well, because that's the point, is that if we're at that situation now, where pastors think, that that's the case, then, if you're in a church and you're struggling because of the way that church is, get out of it. Spend that time with God. Just you and God developing a relationship with Him. Ask all the questions you have to ask. Listen for the answers. And spend that time with Him. Develop your own playlist of worship songs that you can enjoy, and you can spend some time in worship, and have probably far, far better worship. Get some bread and some wine, and then for about 2 weeks, or a week, whatever amount you want to do, certainly for a week, every night, have communion, and make it different every night. Ask God to help you to do that. And then go back to the church and see what you think about it then. Well, but that's the point, really, isn't it? If this pastor is saying to me, or the leader, says you don't need church, then obviously, who needs church? I don't think anyone needs church, do they? Well, he doesn't think that I have a relationship with God. Yes, okay. He doesn't think I'm right about what I've been saying, so therefore he thinks I'm wrong, and he knows that I'm alone, so obviously he knows I need church. So it's either a case that nobody needs church, or he understands that what he's doing is something a pastor and the leader of a church should never do. But he's still doing it anyway. Yeah. To be honest, with all situations like this, I look at it and say, okay, God, what are you trying to show here? You're trying to show something, so what is it you're trying to show? Because you're trying to show something, so okay. No, it's an interesting point. Always looking at it from points of view. So, yeah. As I said, ask questions all the time. Because you need to learn and understand. So ask questions all the time. And most pastors will say this pastor is wrong, completely wrong. Or you don't need church. So what is it? Anyway, there you go. God bless. Speak to you later. Bye bye.